Starting tomorrow, China will enforce new restrictions on religious groups in that country. The new administrative measures govern all aspects of religious life. Everything from formation to gatherings to yearly and daily projects will be subject to approval by the government's Religious Affairs Department. Joining me now by Skype to talk more about these restrictions and their implications is Dr. Thomas Farr. He is president of the Religious Freedom Institute. Dr. Farr, thanks so much for speaking with us.
Happy to be with you.
Dr. Farr, these measures that were put into place complete the so-called regulations on religious affairs that went into effect 2 years ago. How have these guidelines intensified religious persecution in China?
Well, as you say, they're going into effect tomorrow, but this has been burgeoning for a while. What it in effect means is that all of China's religious minority groups are going to be absorbed into the Chinese state and into the Communist Party. This is a policy that has developed over several decades, but it's this president, Xi Jinping, who in a speech in 2016 said we're going to adopt a policy of the Sinicization of religion. And it's pretty draconian. We've seen bad stuff in China in the Cultural Revolution and a lot of crackdowns and problems since then. But this is a new level. And others have called it a new cultural revolution. I agree with.
I know the measures state that religious organizations must spread the principles and policies of Chinese Communist Party. How significant of an impact will that have on Christianity?
Well, it'll have already having an enormous impact. And tomorrow, these regulations go into official effect. But what we're seeing is that the underground churches, which have existed really for decades, they're seriously acting to blot these out and forcing priests and pastors to go into the respective official so-called Chinese Catholic Patriotic Association for the Catholics and the Three Self Movement for the Protestants. So if priests or pastors refuse to do this, they are simply being taken out of their churches. Churches are being shut down, in some cases bulldozed. These priests and pastors are being pressured. Some of them are going to prison. So this is really getting serious. 100 churches, Catholic churches, have been shut down since August in Fuzhou province alone. We're very concerned that this is going to have an enormous impact on the Chinese Catholic Church. And I'll just add one thing. If you want to get rid of a religious group, particularly in a country where the younger people have been almost aborted out of existence, what you do is say anyone under 18 can't go to church. And that's what the Chinese have done officially. So this is quite serious, and I'm concerned that the United States and other Western governments have not really taken it as seriously as they should.
Dr. Farr, we don't have much time left, but I would quickly like to ask you, what can be done to hold the Chinese government responsible for religious persecution?
Well, it's a good question. Ambassador Sam Brownback has done an excellent job of calling attention to what's going on. He's called it a war on faith. He's correct. What can be done is the president can incorporate this issue into his negotiations with the Chinese over a trade pact. There's no sign he's going to do this, but certainly I believe he should. Plus, I believe the United States should call a meeting of the UN Security Council. Of course, China is part of that, but it would show that we are really serious about what is a very serious situation.
Dr. Farr, thank you so much. Dr. Thomas Farr, president of the Religious Freedom Institute, thanks again for your time.
Thanks for having me.